I actually admire Jack Dorsey. I've been a critic of the way Twitter purveys hate and misinformation and harassment, but it's a difficult job to try to weed it all out and figure out what the new rules will be. And Jack's interviews, both with Lester Holt, the Washington Post, and The Hill, showed somebody who's willing to get out there, provide some thoughtful leadership, and really, most importantly, question the very basic premise of Twitter, which is that it's supposed to incent engagement. It's supposed to provoke you to be more engaged. And he's saying we've got to find ways to make this, the foundation of Twitter, less divisive and less uncivil. That's a difficult job, and I applaud him for getting right out there and saying we're rethinking things.
Ben, you had a front row seat to these very existential questions we're now asking about the prevalence of social media and the role it plays in terms of content curation. One of the things that I've been hearing about Twitter, and we could make the same argument about Facebook as well, is that if you cut down on the trolls, if you cut down on the misinformation and the bad actors, you cut down on revenue.
Right. I think more just serious changes have to come. I think it's sort of laughable that Dorsey is going to get up there and say that he's going to put Alex Jones in a timeout. Like, Alex Jones is not going to change his behavior in a timeout for 1 week. That tinfoil hat he's going to put into the microwave. It's going to get crazier. I think, that's how he drives that. I think that the litmus test that the news media is maybe using to talk about, how tech is dealing with this is very different. They're, the people behind us here in the exchange and, the stockholders, the people who are invested in these companies, they want to see engagement. They want to see more users. If you put crazy up there, you can become the loudest voice in the room. And I think that, it's hard to be the loudest voice in the room on Twitter. And Jones has successfully done that in, similar people. I just think that the way that we're judging, the success of this, like Facebook stock didn't go down because of fake news. It went down because they didn't meet their, shareholder goals. So I just think that if we're going to sit around and talk about ethics and whatnot, more serious changes than a 1 week timeout have to be taken for people like Alex Jones.
Yeah, I mean, he told people to get their battle rifles ready for the media.
Right. I mean,
Walter, you really think that a 7-day timeout is an appropriate response? It feels like they're just making it up as they go along, and they don't have a handle. And I'm saying they, because it's not just Dorsey, it's Zuckerberg, have a handle on what they've created. Is that wrong?
Well, I think there's a deeper problem than Alex Jones. First of all, I think he should get a far longer suspension or be kicked off because he's purveying weird conspiracy theories, hate, everything else. But I think the deeper problem is you have a platform that makes its money, is incented by Wall Street to have ever-growing number of users. And so it's filled with bots, it's filled with trolls, and it's filled with the type of people that if you were going to have a responsible platform, you'd get rid of it. If you're going to be really responsible, you would hold all people somewhat accountable for their actions and probably not allow pure anonymity. You'd allow people maybe to use handles or aliases, but you would know who they are. You would make sure that either by getting their cell phone number and making sure they responded to it, that they were real people who you knew who they were so you could hold them accountable. Those type of things would collapse the number of users, and of course it would be bad for them on Wall Street.
Yeah, knowing that, Walter, why do it, right? I mean, how can you change the train midstream and not damage engagement, not damage time spent, and deal with the after effects of what Wall Street has to say about it?
You're right. It's difficult, which is why I admired Jack yesterday saying to The Hill and Lester Holt and Washington Post, we're going to have to re-examine everything. And maybe you just say, we're going to maximize profits, we're going to please Wall Street, we're going to allow hate, and we're going to incent weird engagement the way we've been doing. Or maybe you say, that's just wrong, and we've got to do better as a company. We'll see which way he goes. Jack Dorsey is an interesting, deep person, and he may actually surprise us by saying, I'm going to take some hits, just like Facebook took some hits, by weeding out the worst hate on the platform, not only in Alex Jones, but just the pervasive use of bots and trolls that incent engagement on the platform.